Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and today we have Godzilla Earth versus Godzilla Ultima, alright? So, without further ado, we're gonna see who wins this matchup more often than not. So, yeah, let's start off with Godzilla Ultima, and in all honesty, I like this one. I really did. Went back, watched the Singular Point anime, and dear God, this thing is vicious. Like, they actually went all out with the gore and stuff on this. But enough about that here. We'll also be using his true form for the full total of scaling here, and we'll see how high this actually goes here. Now, this Godzilla is coming from a fourth dimensional plane and actually destroying the human world or the universe itself, which is coming from a third dimensional plane. Now, Godzilla in this anime has been stated to be a higher dimensional creature, which you can take that in many ways here. You could actually say he's a universal plus level being or a low complex multiversal level being here. Now, the reason why I would actually give him possibly the low complex multiversal, and hear me out on this, is because it's stated that he's able to destroy multiple timelines within this one universe, meaning that there are multiple timelines within it, and he's able to destroy every possibility of the future, which actually could put him in even into the like outer versal layers of scaling here, considering the fact that destroying something as complex as the future would put someone at an outer versal, level, as they're destroying every possibility of that future. However, due to the nature of this and how everything was explained, this Godzilla should be above space and time, as Jet Jaguar had to ascend to that level in order to compete with Godzilla in his true form here. And the sheer fact that his true form is actually capable of destroying the universe just by entering it should put him at either a universal plus or a multiversal level. And considering he is above space and time, I think the multiversal level is probably a bit more legit. Now, with Godzilla Ultima, he also has his molecular laser, or his atomic breath, if you will, which is known as a time curve, which is able to kind of like bring futuristic beams or futuristic, attacks here to the present. So again, him manipulating a form of time, which is again a universal level feat, and he does this very casually as well. He's been able to use this to like one-shot monsters like Manda, one-shot a super version of Rodan in this one, and he was able to fight again that same Jet Jaguar. And they were actually able to stalemate each other to a point where they were able to create these crystals, which actually dispersed his archetype. Now, the archetype is basically Godzilla spreading around this disease and destruction to the entire planet. This thing is able to cause things like, instant death. It's, able to destroy it's basically able to destroy an entire ecosystem, destroying the entire way of life for humanity. It destroys their crops, their food, it destroys their breathing and stuff like that, to the point where they'll eventually die. So Godzilla Ultima is pretty powerful. Now again, if you want to go with the lower ends, like I said earlier, you can easily get him to obviously fourth dimensional, which is in the higher universal category. However, considering the sheer fact that he's noted to be a super dimensional being, which again, you can be super dimensional, but you can also be 4D at the same time. It's not impossible here. It's not like he's a 10th dimensional entity like Hyperion from Transformers, and the sheer fact that he's confirmed to be a higher dimensional being than their universe, and considering the sheer fact that the writer himself say that he can destroy things like time, space, and dimensions and alternate timelines at once here, again, you could put him at that multiversal category. I wouldn't say it's impossible to even argue that, but again, his true form is able to destroy all this just by existing. But I think that really does cover it for Ultimate here. Again, I think the lower ends of his scaling should put him at the universal levels, but with the higher end scaling and the super dimensional stuff like that, he should be multiversal. Plus, if he's able to destroy alternate timelines and stuff, he should be around the multiversal category. So without further ado, let's move on to his opponent, Godzilla Earth. Now, Godzilla Earth is a very interesting one, as I had to go back and watch the animated movies, and I never knew this guy had novels. Yeah, so dang, why didn't they just make those in part of the movie? They could have made this a series. I'm just being honest here. Now, Godzilla Earth's biology is actually more plant-based than organic, meaning he's the only non-organic Godzilla, which actually is pretty interesting. Well, I wouldn't say organic, but I would say the more non-meat-like Godzilla, if you will. So, this actually helps Godzilla Earth's regeneration because he can kind of do it just instantly. There's no blood. There's no, problem with his regeneration here. But we're here to talk about the feats, right? So, this Godzilla should also scale to the multiversal margin, if not possibly higher, maybe into complex multiversal. I'm not sure. You see, the reason why I would say he's in the multiversal department is because he's able to damage and destroy Void Ghidorah's black holes, which are noted to be singularities. Now, keep in mind, Void Ghidorah is noted to be a higher dimensional being, and Godzilla was able to at least take attacks from him to the point where he wouldn't, get one-shotted and die. However, once the Exif Eye, which helps Ghidorah's intangibility, was destroyed here, he became tangible. And that allowed Godzilla to not only get the upper hand, but to actually, put hands on him, And then Godzilla goes on to not only destroy his physical form, but to, and again, in all honesty, just one-shot his singularities. I mean, it's pretty simple here. Now, this Godzilla does have his hacks and abilities just like any other Godzilla, albeit I would probably say he's maybe the second most hacksy Godzilla. He has the Oscularity Wave, he has his Red Spiral Ray as well, and he has his Super Escalator Wave, which is basically him swinging his tail and just projecting that, energy and stuff. He also has his trademark Atomic Breath, which I think is pretty simple for any Godzilla. He can also use this energy or use electromagnetic energy, right, to basically produce storms. So yeah, he has a lot of stuff going for him, including, again, his healing factor, like every Godzilla has. I don't think you can really have a Godzilla without a healing factor, right? I mean, it's kind of their bread and butter at this point here. And now I can understand the problems with this Godzilla scaling. He doesn't really scale to Void Ghidorah. I understand that, and I fully agree with it. He really doesn't. You see, the sheer fact that not only did Godzilla need help with Ghidorah, but again, the sheer fact that without the interference from the humans, he would have died. I think that's pretty simple and straightforward, right? He would have died. Plus, he is one of the biggest Godzillas of all time, so, I mean, I guess that's an advantage, right? So, without further ado, let's really, let's talk about it. Who wins this more often than not? So both of these guys would be in the multiversal category, which I think is fair for their scaling. But again, if we go with their lower ends, they both would be in the universal department, with maybe Godzilla Ultima being higher because he's confirmed to be 4D. Meanwhile, we don't know the exact extent to, Godzilla Earth scaling to, the universal margin is what I'm trying to say here. So with that being said, who do I think wins this more often than not? And this depends. It really depends on how you want to look at it. Now, on one end, you have the sheer fact that while he needed him to be tangible in order to destroy him, Ghidorah was still a higher dimensional being, He was still someone that was threatening to destroy the entire universe, and would have destroyed the entire universe if they didn't stop him. And then you also have the fact that Godzilla was able to not only, harm him when he turned tangible, but he destroyed that physical or that avatar-like state and went on to, destroy his singularities. But then you have Godzilla Ultima, who's also a higher dimensional being and would probably be comparable to that Void Ghidorah. Now, again, this really does go into how do you think about it. Do you think that Godzilla Ultima's true form or his actual nature or his higher dimensional, being state is in the same ballpark as Void Ghidorah when he's tangible? Because, again, they're both tangible in their true forms. That was pretty much made stated. Or at least when Ghidorah doesn't have the Exif eye. But if we do grant the sheer fact that Godzilla Ultima and Void Ghidorah would be around the same level once they're intangible, once they're both tangible, then Godzilla Earth should have no problem being able to damage or even being able to beat Ultima. I really don't think it would be a problem for him, especially with, him having probably a much better healing factor. Again, saying probably, not indefinitely. It's a 50-50 here, or else you could just say that their healing factors are at least comparable to one another. I'm very fine with that. But the thing about this matchup is you would have to do a lot of comparing to, higher dimensional beings and being able to compare them to that here. And again, if we do that, and again, I think I'm going to do that because I think it is fair for this kind of situation, that Godzilla Earth really want to have a problem because Ultima does not have those properties, not the same properties as Void Ghidorah. But that's going to be all today, you guys. I think Godzilla takes it 5 times out of 10, while Ultima takes it 5 out of 10. Both of them high difficulty. But hey, that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. And let me know who you think wins down below. Peace.